This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by Worship House Media, resources for the creative church. Head over to their website, worshiphousemedia.com, and subscribe to the Worship House podcast. Well, welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and we're here with tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. And I'm here joined by my faithful co-hosts of Dwight Schrute from The Office, Little Whitey from Little House on the Prairie, Colonel Sanders, the King of Chicken, whose secret recipe I heard was eaten by an over-enthusiastic customer who didn't want anybody else to have the chicken. Kind of weird. And Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, this week we're going to start our series on creating series graphics. A series on series graphics. Yes, you heard it here first. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different aspects of it. So I hope you guys will join me, and if the three wise men and Jesus are ready, which they always are because they don't talk, we're going to get into it. Well, the place that we're starting today is the place that I always like to start, and that's with the why. Why are we creating series graphics? Why are we doing any of this stuff? And you might be like, Brad, I get it. You don't need to talk about it. I don't care about the why. I don't care about any of that stuff. But the why is the most important part of all of this. Now, we want to create distraction-free worship environments, and we want to help people engage in worship without them having to think a lot and be able to just fall into the presence of God and be able to be led in worship and have all of these things happen. And we want to just create that environment for them. And so the why to me is really important. And it's really important because I've seen it abused. I've seen myself and a lot of other people in the past and still people fall into this trap of, hey, I just want to create a really cool graphic, or who cares what the message is about? I want to do something cool. And it just turns out to be this, like, why are you doing this? Like, that was cool, but you walk out of it like, what was the point of that? Like, okay, that was some crazy video, but I didn't really understand the meaning of it. And it had no point to what was going on. And so when you create a series graphic that is driven by the why, people walk out of there and they don't really think about the series graphic because it fits. And they don't need to think about it. So that's why the why to me is really important. And so along the way, I'm going to help you guys understand some of the reasoning today of how and why these graphics are being made through different questions and things that you can think about when you're going through this. So next we're going to take a look at some series graphics that I've done in the past and look at the why that made these come into fruition. So let's check these graphics out. So let's talk about how to create some of these graphics, and I'm going to show you some that I've made in the past and kind of give you a behind the scenes of how they came into action and what the series was about and how that impacted what the graphic looked like. Now, I come from a very team-oriented staff where we sit down as an entire team and plan out our series. And everyone has a say in the process. I have a say in what goes on in teaching, and the teachers have a say in what goes on in the graphics. Now, how much we take out of those says is, up to us still, but we have a very large say in what's going on as a team. And I know that's not true at all of your churches. So the first thing I want to encourage you is that you need to at least know what's going on. And so I would encourage you to push and ask questions to the person who's teaching, which might be you if you're the person creating this stuff. And this might help you plan ahead and think through your message more as you're creating these graphics. But if you're working in a team or you're a volunteer, I would really encourage you to try set up a program team meeting if you don't already have one. And if that's not really possible because of the size of your team, then try set down a time where you can meet with the teacher and say, hey, what is this next series going to be about? Because I really want to make sure my graphics go along with what you're teaching. And I think in the end, you guys will see how those two things impact each other and how the graphics can help add to the teaching and how the teaching can accentuate the graphics and how it's a win-win for both of you guys. So let's take a look at some of these graphics. And the first thing is there's 3 different ways that I go about making graphics and thinking about it. And the first thing is content, and then mood, and then seasonal / kind of holiday. Now, the first one is the most important to me. Have your graphics led by content of the message. So we're talking about, for example, we're talking about Life is Waiting, and this is a series we did on the 10 Commandments. Now, this graphic has in it imagery that goes with the whole 10 Commandments. So you have, you know, do not covet, honor your father and mother, don't take the Lord's name in vain, do not steal, all of that kind of stuff. All of that's wrapped in this image, and this was all driven by the content of what we were talking about in the series. So this is a really good example of a series graphic that's driven by content. Now the second one is by mood. One of our pastors did a series called Karma Chameleon and talked about how being blessed isn't the same as having karma. And he really wanted the series to have this 80s feel, and we did this thing called Nate's Trivia. His name was Nate, and we did 80s trivia, so we called it Nate's Trivia. And we did a Name That Tune and that kind of stuff, but it was all very 80s oriented. And so I tried to make this like kind of fun 80s looking graphic that had the right mood to it, and it was more lighthearted and that kind of thing. And another good example of that is when you have a series topic that you can't really take the content and translate that into imagery. With the 10 Commandments, it's pretty easily to translate each one of those commandments into imagery. But something like talking about the kingdom of heaven, it's pretty hard to translate that into imagery. I mean, you can do like heavenly with clouds, which I kind of did, but I just did something that's a little bit lighter. It was just more bright, and so I did it based on mood. And then the last one is seasonal. And we don't do this often at our church, but I know a lot of churches out there do a lot of things based on season, like Mother's Day and Christmas and Easter, and really wrap it around that. So here's an example of what we did for New Year's, because we usually kind of do a one-off on New Year's Day, because it always is this random Sunday that people are sleeping and on vacation still. And so this was just our New Year's graphic, and yet again you see our little badge there that we used in our other stuff, because I like my little new badge. But this is what we used for the New Year. So again, it's helping figure out where do we want our graphic to be driven from. So I want to pick apart a couple more of these just to kind of describe to you how we got to the point of deciding. And this first one I'll show you is called Marked, and our church is Watermark. And we use the marked imagery of being marked by Christ, and that we want to leave a mark on others of Christ. And so we were talking about, we were doing a vision push, and Steve was going to talk about our vision and all of that, and we were going to be talking about this whole marked mentality. And he was like, you know, I really want people to get on the bus with us, and like us as a church go together in a direction. And so he kind of had this bus imagery in his head, and so we went, and I went and found this bus image and kind of stylized it up. But I knew that the series was going to be visional and kind of more, well, visional, so it's not exactly super tangible sometimes. It's more of the theory behind things. So I wanted it to have this light, positive mood to it. So I tried to use really bright colors, and, you know, our bus is flying on this rainbow, and we used really like, not psychedelic, but Polyphonic Spree and Sufjan Stevens. More of this like eclectic music was our soundtrack that went along with it. So we tried to have all of those things play together for this series. And even when I was creating this graphic, I was listening to the Polyphonic Spree, which they're really cool. They're like super happy, and like it's just great music if you're ever wanting to be in a happy mood. But I was listening to that stuff as I was creating this graphic. So some of those things can help trigger and help you be creative with these things. And then you get to a series like Honest to God. Now we did this series Honest to God, and we were just like asking these gut level questions to God. And it's like, well, I know what the content is of the series, but that doesn't play out tangible like a bus. And so I decided this is where you can take some of that creative license of something that you think is cool and that you want to do, but you still need to make sure that it fits. And our mood was a little bit more gritty because we were getting down and dirty and asking these questions. So I went with more of this grungy feel, but it still has some brightness to it. And like I had a crest for it, you know, this honest to God crest, because we're asking God these questions. So this crest is kind of representing the king. And so that's kind of how we got to the place for that one. So those are just a couple examples of different series graphics that we created and kind of how we got to that place. And there's a bunch more that I could show you, but those are kind of the steps that we go through and that I go through when we're in the meeting, when we're talking, and I'm listening to them describe the series and what they're going to be talking about. I'm thinking through, okay, is there anything tangible in here? Like, are they talking about, you know, oranges? Random enough. Like, is there an orange metaphor that I can use an orange? Or are they talking really philosophically and with a lot of theology that it's like, well, it's not super tangible, so maybe I need to go on the mood of what's being talked about. And then it's like, well, is it Easter? Well, let's do something that's maybe Easter themed. And even this Easter, we're not doing something that's very Eastery themed, but last Easter we did stuff that was very spring based and, you know, green grass and new life and all of that kind of stuff. So just think about those things as you're going through and listening to what they're talking about, and ask those questions like, is there something tangible that you're talking about that you really think is strong imagery? Or what's the feeling and the mood that you want to have during your message and during those times? So those are a few things to think about. Now we're going to get into the technical aspect of a few different things that go along with creating a graphic. Now I just want to cover a couple of the technical aspects that go into creating a series graphic. Now you understand the theory and you're ready to start creating it, but now you need to think about a couple other things first. And the first thing is, what resolution are you going to make this at? And the easy way to do that is to hook up your computer to a projector. Now I've taken, and I got our little projector here, and I've hooked that up to our computer, and we're going to go and right click on the desktop and go to properties if you're on a Mac or on a PC. On a Mac this would be a little bit different. You would need to go into your system settings, into your control panel. And we're going to go over to the settings tab, and in here you'll see your two monitors, and like we'll right click and attach that monitor so it's attached so that we have dual monitors going on, which hopefully most of you are using dual monitors with your presentation software. But right here is the key, screen resolution. And right now it's set to 1024 by 768. Now most churches are projecting at this, and the best way to figure that out is you can get your projector model and go online and search and figure out what the screen res of that is, or open up a manual and look and find out what the native resolution of the projector is, and it will tell you a pixel dimension. And that's what you want to project at, because that's going to give you the most crisp and clean looking pixels. And so your graphics will look perfect. And then you can create your graphics at the same resolution that they're going to be projected at, so that the projector or your software don't have to scale up and down the images to try make them be the right size. Now a lot of times with video, you're going to get videos that aren't at the right size. I'm actually motioning for a new term to be started, and I would like to call it church definition. We have standard definition, which is 720 by 480, and then we have high definition, which is like 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. Those are the two different high defs. Well, since most churches are at 720 or 1024 by 768, I think we need to have church definition, where we're making video at 1024 by 768. And I'm actually going to start creating all of the video that I give away for you guys at these higher resolutions, so you guys can project this really nice looking quality video, because we already are projecting at a higher definition than the TV screen, so we might as well project something that looks nice up there. So that's what you need to do to figure out what resolution to make that image at. Now I'm just going to shut this projector off, throw this over here. So now we can move on with the next part of it. Is we need to take into consideration what room we're in. Now where Watermark does a gathering, we are in a cafeteria and the room is level, and we have 9-foot by 12-foot screens that are on either side of our band/speaker area up front. And these are only like 3 or 4 feet off the floor, and they're only like a foot away from the ceiling. And we actually have these light trusses in the room that are covering up part of the screen. Not a lot of it, but they kind of cover up part of the image. And when people are standing to worship and you're standing in the back of the room, there's people covering up the bottom of the screen. So you got to take those kind of things into consideration, because now we need to raise our lyrics up, but we can't have them too high or else they're going to be underneath the light. And we can't have them too low or else they're going to be within people's heads and you're not going to be able to read them, and you're going to be getting up on your tiptoes trying to see if you can read the lyrics, which is totally distracting. And we want to, again, have a distraction-free and worship environment. So take into consideration those kind of things, as well as our screens are like right next to people, and so we can have imagery that changes the mood in the room. But if your projector's like behind the band and it's just this little 6-foot by 8-foot screen, that's probably not changing the mood in the room a whole lot, unless your lighting's adding a lot to it and that kind of stuff. So you need to just consider, like, how big does that title actually need to be? Could it be this really large thing because our screen's smaller and it's farther away? Or can we get away with having a smaller graphic? And I'll just show you a couple examples, like this Heaven series we did. You can see that this Heaven title is actually pretty small. And that's because the rest of this is setting the mood for our room, because that Heaven was actually pretty big because it's right next to everybody. But if I went and did this at a church where the screen is behind the band up in the back, that would be pretty small, and I would need to scale that up. And then, so there's an example of thinking about the size of your graphic and where it's placed. The other thing when you're creating your graphic, I like to create, your title graphic, but then a blank background that goes along with it. So if the pastor's talking about some scripture and you want to put that up on the screen, you can include that as well. So we'll look at this series, Living into Being. And you might recognize this because I gave you guys a countdown a few weeks back, or actually in the first episode, that used this look. And so here's our title, but then here's our blank background. And I just basically got rid of the title graphic, but that blank background we can now throw text on top of, and it still has the same look and feel, so we stay in this idea of living into being, and we don't jump from living into being title, and we're talking about that, to random worship background, or random Bible background. So just make sure you take some of those things into consideration as you're creating this stuff, because it is really important to have these technical things in mind of where your screen is placed, and making sure that you have room for text on there, and where is the title on the screen? Is it really low because your screen's up above everybody and so a lower graphic works well, or is it really high because people are covering up part of your screen? So just think along those lines about some of those technical aspects, because next week when we actually start creating the graphic, we want to have all of this stuff in the back of our mind so we can just create and get down to the moving of pixels and taking care of that kind of stuff. So just keep those things in mind. This week's free resource is one of the best church resources that I've come across in a long time. Usually when you find church resources, they're kind of cheesy sometimes, and this one is definitely an exception to the rule. So we're going to head over to vineresources.com, and these guys have some really cool stuff. And Vine Resources is a resource from Southeastern Christian Church in Louisville, Kentucky, and which one of the guys on our staff used to live there, and he says it's a pretty large church, and what I could see from their website, they are, and I probably should know who they are, but I've just learned about them. Well, Vine Resources, basically their high school, middle school, and then I think their college ministry put all of their resource packages of the series they've done online so that you could reuse their packaging. Now the thing that I really like about their stuff is they use pretty reusable titles for their series names. If you look back here at like their first page, they have things like motion, game day, schooled, elemental, mind games, you know, like underground, like a lot of things that you could wrap in a lot of different ways. So if we go look at one of these, I picked out this base camp one that I really liked, that still has a wintry feel to it, but anyway, most of them include this swag bag is what they call it, and it includes a title background, a message background, and then a title video looper, which is a video loop of their title, and then a high-res, usually narrow format, like long letter format version of this graphic that you could use for print. So I've downloaded that. It also includes, they have optional materials that they sometimes include different things. And so they have a 3-minute countdown, and then they have 4 different weeks of message bumpers to put before the message or as the person's starting to speak. And then the coolest thing they include is layered Photoshop files. So you can actually go in and edit this stuff. So we're going to take a look. I've downloaded some of this stuff, and I'll just show you what you're kind of getting here. So let me find it real quick. Okay, so here is the full res or high res image that you can use for print for this Basecamp series. And then they have a message background. So again, they've done what I talked about, and they have a nice large area for you to put text on top of for the background. And then here's the regular title background that goes along with it. And then on top of it, they have their Basecamp title. And you can just see this animation play through here, and the Basecamp comes out, and they got some snow falling and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty sweet. But then here's what one of those titles looks like for each of the weeks. And so the little Basecamp plays out, and week 1's called Rethink. And each week had like a different imagery that went along with it. So it's really cool that they included all of that stuff. But the best part, I think, is the Photoshop part. So we'll open up Photoshop, and here's the Basecamp 1024. And again, all of their files are 1024 by 768 images. And in here is all of their layers. And so you can go through and say, well, I don't really like the stripes in there, so I'm going to turn them off. Or you can leave the stripes in, and take your text tool here and change out your text. So we could call this like Mountain Camp, which mountain barely fits. So we can just, you know, Control T and scale it down. I'm not really planning on doing a Photoshop tutorial here, just more showing you how you can edit this. You know, so you can change that out to make it fit whatever. Now the downfall of changing it is now those video loops that you got with it and those high-res print material doesn't work with it, but you can make your own and kind of take this layered document and bring it into After Effects and actually animate this layered Photoshop document. So this is a really cool resource, and they have multiple pages of a lot of different cool stuff, and they actually release a new one every few weeks. Like as soon as they're done with a series, they upload this stuff so that you guys can get your hands on it. So I would definitely throw Vine resources down in one of your bookmarks and make sure you're checking this site out. Send these guys an encouraging email because they're doing some awesome stuff for us as a church, and I really believe in what they're doing, and they have a great style to what they're doing. And they actually have a podcast. It's called Church Tech Talk that they talk on. It's kind of an audio-based podcast that they do weekly. And I can just tell that their heart behind this is really in the right place. And so I believe in what's going on with them. So I really want to encourage you guys to check out this free resource this week of Vine Resources. Well, it's time to thank our sponsors of worshiphousemedia.com. Head over to their website and check out some really cool videos. Now that Easter's over, there's a lot of fun new stuff on the homepage of different producers, and I would encourage you to check out some stuff from Central Christian Church in Las Vegas, which is a close and near dear one to me because that's where my brother works. So check out some stuff from Central Christian, like God Pie and that gorilla video I talked about last week, and get some great resources over there. So check out worshiphousemedia.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Church Media Design TV. We're going to be continuing our series on series graphics next week. So tune in as we actually start to create and make a series graphic and all the stuff that goes into that. And we're going to be working in Photoshop and Illustrator mostly, but then we'll probably jump into After Effects and actually take some of that and put it into motion and have some motion to it all. So think about that as we're coming up into the next week. But I want to encourage you guys to, again, send me an email, brad@churchmediadesign.tv, and just let me know what's going on and what you thought of this episode. And also go to the message board on the website and leave a note on there of, you know, hey, like cool series graphics that you've done that you can link to or give us the link to, or what you think makes a really good series graphic, and ones that you've been like, man, this really added a lot to the message. I'd love to start a conversation about those kind of things. So check out the website, leave a comment there, send me a comment back, and keep in touch with what's going on. So for me, the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying, see you later.